welcome back. It's the end of the week, which means we may deserve a little treat. And what better way than relaxing with a nice bit of non non beauty, especially since today is not exactly the nicest of the English weather. Maybe just living vicariously out from this show where the summer is now ending, but yet everything is still filled with possibilities. We've been to the beach, we've suffered the agonising cruelty of having low grades. What kind of events are going to unfold for us today? So it's back to school day. Actually having classes again, being able to meet all their friends they haven't seen for all of a day. Of course. If it wasn't for my mother waking me up every day, there's no way in hell I'd get myself up for school. Surprised I had almost perfect attendance. So she wasn't the only one that failed to get up in the morning. Well, I went to school and left the teacher at home. Okay. Understandable. Glad to see that nothing really has changed. The teacher being as dependable as ever. The fact that you can have siblings who live together, go to the same school, and yet don't make sure that they're both in attendance. Although, if I had to look after a sibling such as her, yeah, maybe it would. My goodwill to waking them up would wane quite quickly. Same vice versa as well. If my brothers were in charge of making sure I was ready on time, I'd be left at home so often. I wonder how many actual occasions have been not ruined, but at least set back because of the more lax attitude. Does time of appointments and whatnot mean a little less when there's in such a rural area? Okay. I've never... Oh yeah, no, I see it. I've never actually watched anyone do this in reality, but also very, very few times in media as well. No. You make shapes, that's as much as I know. I know how to make a circle. Or here's a squiggle. It is the inexorable march of time. Oh, you... Not entirely wrong. It's... I see she has made the indomitable human spirit. Perfect. Everything held together by little strings, I see. Never give up that artistic dream. Try not to break the news to her. Let her live in hope for a little longer. I mean, it's subjective, I guess. And yet she's going to stick by and read a little as well. How many of them are going to be crowded around it? There was no taking a no as an answer for that one, was there? Does she just... What the hell is this manga? Tomato? No wonder it didn't make sense. Unless the author itself just had a big change of heart of what the story was going. She dips out of conversation at her own whims. So you've got to actually kind of appreciate that. Someone can be so sure on themselves that, yeah, no, this is boring. I see. To be fair, looks pretty good. If it's meant to look like a cat, you're not quite there. Is he an artistic genius? We're going to end up with pizza or something. Is he the next... Is he the next Michelangelo? What? He made a cat. Ah! She is a war criminal. How can you crush a man's dreams that easily with no remorse? Can't you see? It's an airplane. Obviously. It's just that cat really needs to head to the vet. Rather than the pad itself. I mean, she's very specific. You definitely need someone to cut the tension there. Ah. After a morning of slacking off, cool. Let's have lunch. I guess it is part of the issue. He's never recovering from that one. Part of the issue with all the different age ranges. So they are going to have some troubles finding stuff to relate to one another. At least she likes the the care aspect of the animals. Or maybe it's just the singing of it. I think she's got the order of operations of looking after animals wrong. So, I think that was quite successful. I wonder where that came from. Is she like a puppy that you have to keep such an eye on? So excitable over everything, jumping over fences. We've got an escapee! You've got some grub and carrots and whatnot in that bucket. Oh, corn fishing. Fish for rabbits. Yep. Ooh, a piece of corn. Ooh, a piece of corn. And it will find its way back in. You may also want to close that hole that it dug. I mean, her plan is flawless. Why are you both inside? I thought the plan was for her to close the door. Do you think he's falling for it? He's zeroing on... Oh, no. Freedom. I mean... the plan worked. Just... they caught a much bigger target. I mean, yeah. I think this is a time to be feeling proud, though. A wordplay and pun versus capturing yourself. Good thing that the chicken wire, whatever, it seems big enough you can get your finger through and hook the latch off. They'd have to be pretty loud. You saw how far they had to walk. So, they're spending the weekend here. Who checks on the animals? And how long in between each time? I mean, how do you think those animals feel being trapped here for that long? Oh no. Well, that's the reason why you should MacGyver yourself out of this situation, for nothing else than stew. Ah, yes, the incinerator. There's a strange wail on the wind. How could you ever be bored when burning things? Maybe that says a little too much about me. Nice hat. I wonder if the rabbit will actually come back into the cage after its little excursion outside. I think that one agrees. It's working! Oh, a bit of corn. Please don't feed the animals. I mean, good thing it works. If they hadn't laid the trap out, what would they have done? Also, rather than backfill the hole or anything, just put a plank of wood over it. Okay. Yeah, I wonder how business is in a small town like this. Huh? I mean, if you've got nothing else to do, sit and watch TV all day. I actually kind of liked that joke, that little cartoon. Beeping watches. Does she actually? And how many of the things does she actually have already? I mean, all the capsules in the thing should be those what's being advertised on the front, isn't it? You just get a random one of what it's actually a colour or variation. And now that she's tried and done it, got something good. Fair enough. No, no, they're right. I wonder what the whole collection of that series looks like, though. So I've never thought of a screaming wooden peg as a toy before. I got it. So, your name is Candy Lady. Okay. I mean, she might have to save up. But she'll give you a good deal on it, though. Evil! Pure evil! I mean, plus the price is clearly written there. Is she going to be sat behind the desk watching it as well? Great man. I guess when the day is kind of slow and there aren't many customers. You can't just sit back and watch TV all day. Maybe there'll be a greater appreciation for the artistic side of TV. But then again, she was watching something called Great Man, so... Doesn't appreciate... Think about where you are, yeah. Candy shop worker is de facto troublemaker. Haven't heard that one before. She was playing around in the shop for a while. And the fact that she is unapologetic about any of it. We can have Candy Lady staying to have some curry as well. God, so loud. Ah. Did she even buy the cherry candy thing? Yeah, you're too nice for your own good. I guess it's all worth it in the end. A few rice crackers and time in trade for some curry. It seems like a good deal. Pidgeot should be going out of business soon. What is the profit margins of a shop like this? I mean, I don't think the cost of the land and the rent would be all too extravagant, but is it a living wage? Yeah. Candy egg? When was there eggs filled with candy? Especially my mixing stories. It's interesting how her mind works. I do remember some kind of corner shops where you would actually get to know the proprietors and the people that worked there. And you might get a extra sweet or two once you go in, but I didn't leave anywhere kind of empty enough to... Can I borrow your TV? I want to watch something. Maybe that's just a bit too much of an imposition. But Renge doesn't seem to be all too worried about that. As long as she gets what she wants. Why were they both standing in the rabbit pen? I wonder how much energy they're wasting by leaving the TV on like that. Now, going through all of this, there's certain parts which really do resonate with me quite well. The whole completely oversleeping when you've got stuff to do. More than once, more than... Well, I don't think there's the human imagination you can even come up with a number high enough. Considering I have about 7 alarms set at 10-15 minute intervals and I sleep through them all. Yeah, I have a problem. I only really remember one time that there was a teacher that was late for a lesson, and yeah, I don't think anything productive was ever done during that hour and a half. Granted, we didn't have any clay or yarn. To be fair, I think even if we did, no one would have taken advantage of that. The greatest luxury is doing nothing at all. But I'm sure that over half of the people that I know would try and pull the whole, yeah, this is space. It might look like a twisted mess, but it is what it is. Also, can we just take a moment, not just to mourn the loss of the sculpture that the brother made, but just admire how quickly he put that together. Multiple different colours of clay, that quickly, and a fairly decent result. Sad it met the fate of a clenched fist. No matter what happens in the show, you know that things are gonna mostly turn out alright. Apart from starving to death in a rabbit hutch. Even when you have some ridiculous occurrences, why does it feel so potentially accurate as to have happened somewhere? I would not be shocked in the slightest to hear that some people lock themselves in a cage in an attempt to recapture some of the animals. And considering the geniuses they have at work here in the show, I'm shocked they weren't in there longer. Or somehow the sister managed to lock herself in as well after rescuing them. But since he's had a taste of freedom now, that rabbit is not going to let up. What a mischief is there going to be down the road? I am so glad that we never had a class pet that we had to look after. I'm pretty sure over half of the people that I used to go to school with would have somehow killed it. Either through negligence, hopefully only through negligence, rather than an act of actual darkness. But is anyone here any better? Renge might put up a big front and be excited to look after the animals, but in all honesty, maybe she's more suited to looking after a pet rock. But that's it for this show. If you have enjoyed, let me know. The fresh air of the countryside is something I miss. I would go outside and see what it's all like, but you never know what kind of dangerous animals might be lurking around waiting to take advantage of me. So, leave a like and a comment down below if you enjoyed this episode. Consider subscribing if you want to make sure to see more. Get yourselves a bit of rest. You definitely don't want to miss the next showing of Great Man. I'll see you in the next one. If you would like to be a sneaky and cunning leopardai and lock me away in my cage that is my channel, because honestly those rabbits are getting smarter by the day, consider joining on to my Patreon, because thanks to the likes of Noku, Sal, Guado, Kite, Raywin, Shiran, Tori Jane and everyone else, I at least still get to be fed while hidden away. But if you want to help support the channel, I would greatly appreciate it, because sometimes it would be nice to have something a little more than just some carrots.